Modern Dubai is a dense canopy of steel and glass, but strip away the architecture and you are left with one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. 50 years ago, this was almost entirely dry sand. In the 1950s, the local economy was built on survival. Inland Bedouin tribes navigated the desert, while coastal communities pulled what they could from the water through seasonal pearl diving and fishing. There was virtually no physical infrastructure. Families lived in simple courtyard homes or palm frond houses known as arish, separated by vast tracts of unpaved coastline. The Trucial states lacked arable land, fresh water, and industrial capacity. There was no natural foundation here to build a modern economy upon. That geographic limitation vanished in the 1960s with the discovery of oil. Deep reserves of crude provided a sudden, massive influx of capital. In 1971, these individual emirates unified into the United Arab Emirates. The newly formed government faced an immediate decision about how to manage this new wealth. They recognized a harsh mathematical reality. Petroleum is a finite resource. Every barrel extracted meant one less barrel for the future. The revenue was temporary. The state initiated a strict economic deadline. They needed to convert their petroleum profits into permanent, self-sustaining industries before the wells ran dry. The very first phase of this transition relied on geography. The UAE sits directly between Europe, Asia, and Africa. They quickly capitalized on this location by constructing Jebel Ali. It became a massive free zone and transshipment hub, pulling international cargo vessels away from traditional maritime routes and routing them directly through Dubai. A parallel strategy was applied to the sky. The expansion of Dubai International Airport and the launch of Emirates Airlines captured global passenger traffic, forcing millions of travelers to connect through the desert. By artificially engineering this global logistics choke point, the government replaced a portion of their crude oil exports with physical trade and transit fees. Moving physical goods was only the first step. To attract sustained foreign capital, the state began developing high-end tourism and real estate sectors. This required building massive infrastructure. But engineers faced a critical problem. You cannot place a skyscraper weighing 250,000 tons on top of loose desert sand. It will sink. Engineers drilled a dense forest of deep concrete friction piles beneath the streets. Rather than extending to bedrock, they rely on surface area. The massive tower's weight is counteracted by the upward friction of tightly packed sand gripping the concrete. To manage desert winds exceeding 75 kilometers an hour, the Burj Khalifa utilizes a Y-shaped footprint around a solid core. At high altitudes, mechanical floors act as a rigid internal web, tying the perimeter walls back into the core to keep the building upright. The most persistent threat, however, is the climate itself. Summer temperatures reach lethal levels, making traditional air conditioning highly inefficient for a city this dense. To survive the heat, Dubai utilizes district cooling. Instead of placing individual AC units in every building, centralized plants generate chilled water and distribute it through an underground network, cooling entire city blocks simultaneously. Every hotel, mall, and artificial island relies on these specific mechanisms. The region's tourism economy exists strictly because these engineers found ways to physically dominate the sand, wind, and heat. By the 2010s, global markets were increasingly driven by software, not concrete. Physical infrastructure alone could not secure a long-term economic advantage. The government launched the Smart Dubai initiative to digitize the city. They integrated artificial intelligence and Internet of Things sensors into transportation networks, healthcare, and public safety systems. This push resulted in a nationwide 5G network and a mobile penetration rate of 193%, placing the country among the highest globally for digital adoption. They installed a new operating system for the country. The economy expanded its focus from routing global shipping containers to routing global data. This animated chart illustrates the current economic reality. By 2023, non-oil industries like tourism, finance, and technology were generating 75% of the UAE's total economy. Yet alongside this rapid modernization, the core social structure remains intact. The population continues to center traditional Bedouin practices, tribal affiliations, and cultural heritage in daily life. In 2021, the country executed the Arab world's first interplanetary expedition. The Hope Mars mission demonstrated a fully realized transition into a high-level knowledge economy. However, this highly optimized system exists in a volatile neighborhood. Geopolitical tensions constantly threaten the trade routes and investments the UAE relies on. Because its location is both its greatest asset and its largest liability, the country lacks the luxury of complacency. Its economic survival requires a continuous, aggressive push forward. Over a single lifetime, a sparse network of seasonal pearling villages and desert camps evolved into a densely populated, highly digitized global hub. This rapid expansion was not a byproduct of finding oil. It was a calculated exit strategy designed to escape severe geographic constraints and resource dependency. The UAE recognized an expiration date on its own primary resource. By leveraging that finite wealth into permanent infrastructure, they engineered an economic transition on their own terms.